Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. So we got a couple of things to talk about today. One is going to be Mawson. They provided their quarterly results and production for July. So we got quite a bit to cover there. And then we're also going to take a look at USBTC merging with Hut 8. USBTC, I was unaware, actually provided their July production update. So we're going to merge the two companies together here for July and look forward into the future as far as what they could be possibly valued at. Okay, this is just a quick estimate on it. We don't know how this is all going to work out, but I got to give thanks to where thanks is due, and it's really from McNally Money. Bryce, he did a video today on it. I didn't know that they provided the July production update from USBTC, so thank you to him, and we'll get into some details on him as well here in a minute. But as always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research, and spam posts get reported and deleted. And I'm invested in the following coins and companies for full disclosure. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's take a look at what we have here. So first, I want to give thanks where thanks is due. And that is from, obviously, Bryce from McNally Money. Guys, definitely check him out. Great interviews with CEOs. I watched the CEO from Sato today. Great interview there. Also watched, obviously, the other interviews that he's done. So he's doing a lot of great work here in the community for Bitcoin miners as well. So definitely give him a look. Check him out. The great interviews, like I said, and definitely a great guy there. Okay, so let's take a look at US Bitcoin Corp, see what they provided as far as July production updates, and then we'll take a look at the numbers here that we have for them, combining for July and looking forward into what they could be going forward. Okay, it's kind of interesting to look at. Okay, so US Bitcoin Corp announces July 2023 production update and operation updates. Here's the details that we do have. So they go into some details here. Below are certain key production and operational metrics for July 2023, including illustrative data if the Celsius transaction had been completed on July 1st, 2023. It has not been yet completed. Celsius is through bankruptcy going right now. They're part of a bid to basically take over the management part of things on that, I believe. Okay, but that's kind of what we're going to look at here, and this is the data that we do have here. Operational metrics, month-end miners under management, 189,000. Month-end hash rate under management, 18.99 exahash, which is really good. And then estimated pro forma operational metrics, assuming consummation of the Celsius transaction, would get them to 311,000 miners, 31.19 exahash. This would make him, I think, one of the largest, if not the largest, management provider for hosting, or would that be, I guess, under management. Yeah, miners under management, hash rate under management, things like that. We also got data from them for the self-mining metrics. So they have 48,255 miners at the end. Those are at 4.9 exahash month-end hash rate installed. That gets us to about, on those are like 101.5 exahash, or terahash, sorry, 101.5 terahash on average, coming up there somewhere around there. We'll take a look at the numbers that I do have for that. You have the energy metrics here. Commentary: in July, self-mining contributed to 286 Bitcoins to our portfolio. So we'll use that number, combine what Hut 8 had in July, and we'll run some numbers against that. Don't have a lot of data for, obviously, USBTC going back, so we can't use any historical data. We can only go forward with them. Celsius mining operations here. This is kind of interesting here. On May 25th, 2023, the company, as part of the Fahrenheit LLC coalition, won a bankruptcy auction to manage and operate the assets owned by Celsius Network, which includes a lending portfolio of digital assets and approximately 122,000 mining machines. Subject to the approval of the bankruptcy court, in addition, the company, acting separately through its USMIO business, won the right to enter into one or more operating and servicing agreements with the restructured company, which is also subject to approval of the bankruptcy court. So we don't have that answer yet. If they do get it, if they win that bid for it, this is obviously going to be a huge increase in their managed hosting or managed services. The company previously announced that it secured hosting agreements for approximately 150,000 Bitcoin miners. These companies include Tesla Watt, Marathon Digital, which obviously we cover here, Foundry USA, we don't cover them, Sphere 3D, we cover here as well, and Decimal Group, which we don't cover in aggregate. The company expects to manage a fleet of more than 310,000 Bitcoin miners across Celsius and hosted assets. So definitely pretty large here. And the more I read into this, I think the more of a benefit this is going to be for Hut 8 merging with them. And it almost seems like if it wasn't for Hut 8's HODL position, which they have a nice HODL position of over 9,000 Bitcoin, majority of those are unencumbered. But that's definitely, I think it's going to be a good thing for them, right? But we'll get into some more details here in a second. Merger with Hut 8, they talk about that, about Bitcoin US Corp. And down here, one of the asterisks was number 3, includes 100% of self-mining operations from King Mountain joint venture. So the joint venture, I'm guessing that they have at least 51% stake in that in order for them to be putting that on a balance sheet as income, because if it's under 50%, then it goes under assets. Represents peak hash rate during the period, not adjusted for economical or ancillary services-based curtailment. So this is what they actually reached at 4.9 exahash. It's not the average, it's basically what they had reached at that point. Okay, so that's what we have there. And if we look at the merge documents here, or the presentation for it, here's how things were supposed to work out. This was based on, when did they provide this? I don't think there's a date here. Let's see if there's an actual date here. So this was outstanding May 21st. So this was from May, it looks like, possibly. So with the merger, Hut 8 and US Bitcoin Corp, Hut 8 has over 221 million shares. Hut 8 had 64 million shares, fully diluted into the money, shares outstanding. You can see that there, 221 million for Hut 8, 66 million for US Bitcoin. And exchange ratio with New Hut is going to be 0.2. So you're going to get, there's going to be a reverse split on this, I believe, the way it's going to work out. And it's going to be basically, what is that going to be? 1 for 5, right? You're going to get 1 share for every 5 that you had, I believe. New Hut shares outstanding following the transaction is going to be 44.3 million. And then New Hut, or US Bitcoin Corp, is going to be exchange ratio of 0.67 to get to the 44.3 million there as well. That's basically 50% right there. And based on that, they're going to have about 88.6 something million shares in total when this does go through. Okay, so that's kind of the known details that we do have here. And if we look at the numbers here that we have when we combine them all, so like I said, I don't have a lot of data for US Bitcoin going back, historical data. We only have the data that we have for the month of July. So based on that, I pumped them into my lovely spreadsheet here, which is going to be available to my Patreon members later on tonight. This I pumped in, let me see here, the USBTC merger here, I put in the 48,255 Bitcoins that they reported, and they said they're going to be about 4.9 exahash there, so that came out to be about 101.5 terahash per miner on average on those. That got us to adding those in here for a total of BTC mined here for the month between USBTC and Hut 8, 402 Bitcoin, which equates to about 12.94 million, somewhere around there roughly, on that information. And that's using the average Bitcoin price for the month of July, which we added them here. It looks like US Bitcoin was running for approximately 24.3 days, because we know what Hut 8 was running at. And that got us, well, they're actually running for more than that. They said, well, they didn't specify how much they made. So yeah, we're guesstimating here 24.3 days running, which gave us the 12,094,000 for the combined total of Hut 8 and USBTC. Okay. So based on this, if we look at the forward-looking numbers here, so we have 8 months before the halving event, before Bitcoin gets reduced down to half, and basically they're going to be generating half the revenue. So we have 8 months going forward, 4 months after the halving, which is at 50% of this. Here, future estimates is going to be about 120 million if things stay the same. Bitcoin price stays where it's at right now. Hash rate stays where it's at right now. Their hash rate stays where it's at. Everything stays where it's at right now, which we know is not going to be the case. I have them at between $10.23. I also increased their PE value here to 15 because I think they might grow some more into this. So I gave them the benefit of the doubt there. That got us to $10.23. At 50% net income to 75% net income, that'd be $15.35 right now. That would get us a market cap of 907 million at the low end to 1.3 billion at the high end. Okay, and that's based on the 88.6 million shares when they do combine together. Currently, obviously, Hut 8 is valued at what are they valued at right now? $2.32. This was at the end of today. Their market cap is at 500 million. So that would kind of coincide pretty well, today at least, if they got somewhere between the 900 that we have in here and 1.3 billion, depending where Bitcoin goes. But this is kind of the mergers of equal. They put in 500 million basically value, and USBTC puts in 500 million of value. They'd be around 1 billion in value at that point. So right in mind, right between those numbers that I have right here. Given what we know now, basically with the dilution so far with Hut 8, or not dilution, but the reverse split, sorry, the reverse split with them, if we do 1 share for 5, you're going to have less shares. That basically gets us to $10 and, right, multiply that times 5, almost $11. So right in between that line there. So that makes me think that they're probably pretty well valued right now for the merger. Depending on how well they grow after the merger, how things progress, well, a couple of things. How well they execute on the merger and incorporate the services and teams together, and also cut any waste, right? I mean, you obviously have probably some things that could be done away with, I would imagine, it between a merger of equals. You probably want to keep, I'm guessing here you don't want to keep too many financial accountants around more than you need. So there might be some room where they can possibly, after the merge, lay off some people that they don't need, as they're duplicates in all of this anyways. Okay, but that's just my thoughts on it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of this. I think they're pretty well valued right now based on that. Going to be with USBTC here with the merger supposedly happening in September, by the end of September maybe. And that's it. Yeah, I think they're pretty well valued right now. If they do the reverse split, that gets them to over $11 a share at that point combined. Right? If my math is right, let me know if my math is right on that. I'm doing this off the top of my head here. But otherwise, I think that's where they should be. So it's good news for obviously USBTC and for US Bitcoin as well, or US Bitcoin and Hut 8, for both of those guys to join together. It's going to definitely give a bigger presence for them and a lot more opportunities, I would think, going forward, especially with Hut 8's huge HODL position as well. But I think this is actually pretty good. I wasn't for this in the beginning because I didn't think that USBTC was worth the same amount at the beginning as Hut 8 was. Okay, so but now the more that I'm seeing this stuff come into play, the more I'm thinking that it is a good play for them. Okay, so that's it. I'm rambling on here. Let's get on to Mawson here really quick, and then we'll get into Bitcoin and the miners, see how they did today, and we'll call it a day. So next is going to be Mawson. So we have 2 updates from them. Like I said, we have the quarterly results and we have the mining production update for July. And here's what we have for July right now, and then we'll get into the quarterly results as well, and we'll do it all in one shot at that point. So here's the interesting parts. We've covered this a little bit in the past. 2023 strategic focus. Mawson looks to continue to drive growth in 2023 through exploring expansion opportunities, continue to secure portfolio of sites, continue to participate in the energy markets, develop strategic partnerships with and commercial relationships, and then drive a diversified revenue mix of self-mining, hosting, energy, and market participation, which they have done so far, which is pretty good. And here's what we have as far as the numbers that are interesting to us. Total revenue equivalent in BTC, so I believe that is also the amount that they got for energy curtailment. And then you have also the total self-mining BTC, which is just what they mine for themselves. So 69 here and then 163. So that is definitely and hosting, I believe, is in that as well. Right, we're really tracking just their self-mining, and this is what we're going by with the 69 and basing our numbers off of that. Hosting is hopefully somewhat profitable for them, but it's nowhere near as profitable possibly as self-mining is, especially when Bitcoin starts going up. So that's kind of what we're going by with. Okay, and there's nothing else in here. Let me see if I did anything. Yeah, revenue equivalent BTC is the total revenue of the company for the period divided by the average. Okay, so we figured all that out. Okay, so that's that. And we'll get into also their Q2 report, which I looked through this. There wasn't anything new or interesting in here that I thought was interesting. You guys can take a look at over this stuff, but we'll go over all the numbers here that they provided, and we'll call it a day. I'll look at Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well. Okay, so let's take a look at Mawson here. Mawson is right there. Okay, so 16.5 million shares outstanding right now as of the reported date for the Q2 results. Stock price is at 77 cents. Market cap is at 12,718,000. We'll look at the numbers down below, but definitely way undervalued in my opinion right now. Current hash rate is at 1.4 exahash, future hash rate 1.7. In the last 12 weeks, they haven't done too well. They're down 58% from 12 weeks ago. From 8 weeks ago, they're down 41%. From 4 weeks ago, they're down 38%. And then last week, it looks like they were pretty much flat on the week, based on my numbers here. Okay. Looking at their BTC production here, it has been improving here ever since December of last year. It has been going up, and they're currently averaging around 60 some in the high 60s, low 70s right now, which is good to see. Monthly difference, you can take a look at that as well, how much they have improved or um, not improved month to month, how much the BTC production is. Then we have the BTC per exahash efficiency. Based on the curtailment, that efficiency number goes down, but they also generate revenue from the curtailment as well. Okay, they don't hodl anything, so they sold all their BTC. Hash rate and revenue here. Hash rate was at almost 8 exahash in September of last year, July of last year as well. They sold infrastructure and miners to get out of debt, to restructure and things like that, and concentrate on the core competencies that they do have in the geographic area that they're in right now. That brought them down to 532 petahash here at the end of April, and then they jumped back up in May to 1.2 exahash, 1.46 exahash in June and July now. Revenue is back to where it was basically last year. This time around, July came in at 2.08 million. They were at 1.94 million in July of last year, so that is an increase, so that is good. You can see the hash rate difference here from month to month, how that had transpired. And then we also have their BTC sold value, which is basically what they generated. And then here we have the last 4 quarters of revenue. Q3 of last year, they were at 5.91 million. This current quarter, we're at 4.9 million, so we're down a little bit here. But the current quarter that we're in, I'm estimating them to be about 5.91 million also, so they would be right back to where they were last year. So they have done a pretty good job getting things restructured, getting things under control, and growing from there. And you can see also their revenue has been increasing here for self-mining only the last 3 quarters as well, which is good to see. Last 4 quarters operating costs and minus depreciation has been coming down here through Q1, and they're up a little bit here to Q2 at 13.29, which still isn't too bad, but this includes all of the hosting, energy, selling, and all that stuff as well, whereas this only includes the self-mining part of things. Okay, cost to mine 1 Bitcoin has gone up quite a bit here to 18.45 thousand based on my math. We'll take a look at the math down below. Bitcoin mine quarterly also has been increasing here, which is good to see. Debt to equity ratio, higher is better here. No, lower is better here, higher is better here. Debt to equity ratio, lower is better. That has increased a little bit here to 0.87, so not too bad, but it's still definitely going up in the wrong direction. Current ratio has been coming down, which is also going in the wrong direction, should be going up. So there is some debt issue there as well. Total current assets you can see here is at 15.6 million, so it has been coming down. They have been paying off some liabilities, but the current total liabilities has come down a little bit here to 47.89 million from 48.55 million. Okay, so it was down to 35. Obviously, it jumped up a little bit here in the last 2 quarters a little bit. Okay, raw data as far as what we had mining for them in the month of July, we had them at obviously the 1.46 exahash, and they mined basically 19.68 days based on my calculation here to get close to the 2,075,000 in revenue. So definitely a lot of curtailment happening there. They did generate revenue from that in electricity costs, and that's about it for it. Oh, let's see here. Going back up here, the institutions did increase a little bit here to 15 from 14. Shares also increased to 665,000 from 664,000, so that's good. Their percentage increased a little bit here. We still have the same buy ratings, and the analyst price targets is $12 for the high, average is $7.50, and the low is $3 for them. I currently have them at somewhere between $2.39 and $3.58. They're currently at 77 cents. Definitely way undervalued, in my opinion, from where they should be. And their stock, or the market cap, is at 12 million. Their current assets, if you look at those, is around 15 million. So right around there, right? Actually, their current assets is more than their current market cap. So definitely way undervalued based on that. And if we look forward to go into the future, the next 8 months before the halving event, 4 months afterwards at 50%, we're looking at $3.14 to $4.71. So definitely undervalued, in my opinion, here. Okay, now let's take a look at the quarterly financials here. We'll get into my metrics down here afterwards. Assets, and so cash and cash equivalent increased here to 5.6 million, so that was good to see. Prepaid expenses actually went up also to 3.5. Trade and other receivables went down to 6.4. They got rid of assets held for sale, didn't have that, so total current assets actually went down to 15.5 or 15.6 roughly from 16.7 million here in Q1. Not a huge decrease there, but a decrease nonetheless. Total assets came in now at 104 million. So you can see that their total assets is 104 million. Their market cap is at, what was it, 12 million? 12 million. Definitely more undervalued here. Okay. Now, let's take a look at their current liabilities. Current liabilities are still relatively high here at 47.8 million to 48 million, from 48 million. It is a decrease, but it's still pretty high. And then total liabilities is 49.4 million from 49.9. So a decrease there nonetheless, but would like to see that come down even more. Okay. Total liabilities and stockholder equity is 104 million. Revenues. So revenues here increased to 10.5 million for total revenues. So that is good from the 7.6 million that they had here in Q1. And self-mining also increased to 4.8 from 2.7. So that's good. Hosting increased a little bit here as well to 4.5 from 4.3. That's also good. And then the sale of crypto was actually down. Mining equipment was down to 42,000 from 150,000. Not a big difference there, but still a difference. Net energy benefits, they actually had basically 1 million here compared to 441,000. So that is good there, but still way shy of where it was in Q4 of 7.4 million here. Trying to figure out why, whether energy costs came down, and that's why we're seeing that. Let's see here. Cost of sales, less cost of revenue, or less. Cost of revenues excluding depreciation was 7,028,000. So that's up from the 4.6 million here that we saw before. This is, let's see here. This should be the revenue after, or the gross profit. 3.5 million from 2.9, so that's good that increased there. And then percentage of based cost of self-mining, I'm just calculating that based on how much they generated, how much they actually, percentage of that of revenue, how much they possibly cost them in expenses. So they came out to be 3.26, and that's what I'm using to calculate my Bitcoin price right now for them, what the cost is to mine 1 Bitcoin. Okay, expenses. Here's the thing. General administrative went way up here to 6.2 million from 4.9. Would love to see that come back down more towards the 5 million, even less than that, if possible. Share-based compensation came down a little bit here to 687,000 from 1 million, so that's good there. Depreciation went up to 8.7 million from 7.9. So total for that expenses was 15.7 million compared to the 14 million. We definitely want to see that come down as well. Net loss gain income for the period was negative 17 million, so they lost more than they did in the prior period, which is not good. We'd like to see that go the opposite way, them losing less each period. And then gross profit was 12 million. Gross profit minus depreciation was negative 3,400,000, and that's up a little bit here from the 3 million negative that they had here. Cost of revenue minus depreciation, we look at, let's see, we just include general administrative on that. Cost of sales, so that came in at 13 million. Yeah, 13 million looks like, compared to 9.65 million that we had here. Okay, going down here, loss before income taxes was negative 15 million compared to negative 10 million. So like I said, that's not good. That's maybe why the stock is down. And then net loss attributable to Mawson Infrastructure Group shareholders was negative 17 million compared to negative 11 million. So we had a loss of $1.12 per share compared to the 80 cents loss that we had in Q1. Okay. So that's kind of the numbers there. So like I said, the debt is kind of troublesome. Also, their general administrative has come up. Love to see that come down as well. And finally, let's go to the metrics here really quick. So we covered basically the debt to equity ratio, current ratio as well. Book to value of equity assets, BVE, is at 55.3 million. So that's down from the 66.7 million that we had. Price to book ratio is at 0.23. Enterprise value, market cap plus debt minus cash, is at negative 42 million right now. And EBITDA is at 9.9 million. Revenue that we talked about was 10.5 million. General administrative of that was 6.9 million. So 65%. It's down from where it was in Q1, but it's still way up there. Definitely want to see that under 20%, if not lower than that. Okay, so those are kind of some of the trouble spots that we see with Mawson here, and potentially why they are down where they are. Also, I would love for them to start providing the monthly production updates a lot sooner. I mean, they provided it. It's 21st right now, right? 22nd actually, and it shouldn't take them that long to provide those. But that's just my 2 cents on it. A lot of the other miners provide it a lot faster, and I think they get a little bit more traction from investors because they're not having to wait so much longer. They see the production updates from the other miners. And they're like, oh, they're doing pretty good, and let's invest in them. Whereas people are waiting for Mawson to provide their numbers, and then, they get kind of left out possibly. Okay, so that's all that. Like I said, I still think that they're undervalued from where they are right now, and hopefully they can turn things around with the debt, general administrative expenses as well, getting that under control, things like that. All right. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think of all of this, if you guys are invested in them or not, and where do you guys see them possibly in the future here. Right now, it's kind of tough to see where things might be for them unless they turn things around. Okay. Next, let's take a look at Bitcoin, what that happened today with it. We had another down day today. If we look at it here, Bitcoin, there it is. So Bitcoin was down quite a bit here. Well, actually, things turned around towards the end of the day, but we did drop quite a bit here. We dropped to about, what was the low on it? 25,350. So, and then slingshotted back up here to above the 26,000 mark. It seems like that is kind of like the line of support here. I originally had it at 26,300. I dropped it down because we're seeing a little bit more support here. Now, if this doesn't hold, we might be coming down to, where is it at here? Why isn't this automatic? There we go. We might be coming down to the bottom that we had here, which was at around 25,000. We may have some support there. And if that doesn't hold, well, we might be coming down to 23,800, which was our previous support as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on where things go from here. It's still looking way oversold here on the daily chart. I mean, we haven't been this oversold since, if you guys haven't watched, gosh, what is his name? I'm drawing a blank right now. BTC guy, gosh, BTC 1000, BTC, I'm drawing a blank. I know it's BTC something, where you have he does all the data, the graphs on Bitcoin. I'm drawing a blank, sorry. But he had a video out recently, and he's saying that Bitcoin right now is so oversold as it was back in which was back in, I think he said the pandemic here, where the pandemic started. No, 2018. It was in yeah, right there. Right at that spot, right around here. Going back to this part, right here, where we had the we had the pandemic basically, and everything crashed at that point, but then it rebounded. So we're at that low of a point on the RSI right now. Looking on I don't know if he's looking at the monthly or the yearly candles on it, but I'm thinking USBTC. It's not, sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Put it down in the comments if you guys know who I'm talking about, the BTC guy. Plan B, there we go. Jeez. The older you get, the worse your memory gets. Plan B, check it out, his video also, very interesting there. He's actually saying that Bitcoin could possibly get up to 300,000 this current cycle, because we had a kind of an anomaly with with Bitcoin back in 2020, when was it? Right, when we had the pandemic. But otherwise, he thought it was going to go up to 100,000, but now he's saying we may get a correction onto that and go up to 300,000. So definitely worth listening there. It's only, I think, 10 or 11 minutes long video, but definitely check him out. Plan B, Plan B. Okay, so that's Bitcoin right here, but we know what's going on with it. Then as far as Ethereum was also down today. Let me see here. Zoom this in, sorry. In the daily, Bitcoin, or Ethereum was down quite a bit also, was down 1.97% on the day. It hit a low of 1,579. It closed at 1,634. So like I said, that kind of bounced off of the bottom here, and it went back up above the 200 daily moving average here, 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line here. Okay. Now, as far as the miners are down quite a bit here. I'm not going to go through all the miners here, but we could definitely look at where they have been in the last couple. I mean, you can see from the peaks here that we saw in some of these annies have been coming down non-stop. Argo, Bit Digital. I mean, Bit Digital. Let's take a look at Bit Digital real quick. It is down here in the last, what is that? 54 days, 37 bars, so 37 trading days. It is down approximately 49% in value. BitDeer is actually up, surprisingly. Bitfarms also down quite a bit here. It is down right now from the peak here to the bottom. Also in approximately 25 bars, so 25 trading days. It's down 42% as well. Cypher is down as well. Cypher's down quite a bit here. It was at $5.30 at the peak. It's now down in 28 trading days. It's down approximately 46%. So a lot of these miners are down quite a bit here. And if you like dollar cost averaging into them, this is a great time to get into them because this is not going to last very long. CleanSpark is down in 27 trading days, 39%, and we could go on and on through all these. Most of them are down at least 40% at the moment. It looks like the Mawson news was not well received by investors today, down 21% on the news, so that wasn't good for them. Soluna was down also 9%. I mean, pretty much everybody was down except for a couple miners here as well. So, like I said, this is a good time to dollar cost average in. If you're doing it about last week, I'm trying to scrunch up cash for this week. If things drop a little bit more, I'll be picking up some stuff as well. Looking at the Bitcoin network here really quick as well, and we'll call it a day. It's actually on the 7-day average, it's at 407 million terahashes. And on the 1 day, we're down to, right now, 380 million terahashes. Okay? So that's it. That is all of the news that we have for today. So I hope you guys appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. It takes me a while to get all this stuff, data combined and everything else. So if you guys do enjoy it, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Also, like I said, the spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members there. And that's a great group there. We have also a Discord channel that's private for us as well in there. We communicate in that, and I try to provide some info and updates there as well. Time is limited. As you guys know, I work full-time and I do this in my spare time. So that's that. Lastly, like I said, check out Bryce McNally Money. Great guy there. Great interviews with the CEOs. He's going to have Sue Ennis on, I think, later on this week or possibly next week. So it'll be interesting to see what they are seeing with the USBTC merger as well. But definitely always check out other channels. Also, Talking Investing is a great channel as well for interviews with the miners, CEOs and things like that. Always look into other news sources, but it's always great to get CEO interviews. That way you kind of know what's going on with them. You maybe get a little bit of insight. Okay? All right, so that's it. I'm rambling on here. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you guys enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And we'll see what happens next tomorrow. Tomorrow, there might not be a video. Tomorrow I'm going to be pretty busy now, getting home till possibly late. So unless something major happens, there probably will be a video. But otherwise, I probably won't have a video out for you guys tomorrow. Just too busy at work. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.